There we go. This will get refined as we go. I'm got to share this with Scott, the guy that's usually here with me on a Wednesday. The cat wants me to pay attention to it. And things are just your usual ball of confusion. So, here we go. Here, Scott. Here's your link. I think what I like most about this StreamYard is that it at least lets me. I mean, I may be the complete idiot for sticking with Firefox, but I think they do all kinds of things that I probably shouldn't approve of or support them for. Or, I don't even think of it as support or anything. It's just like what I'm used to. It's like, what can you do? I can't write code. I can't write. I used to cut and paste HTML. I think I remember a couple of things about DOS. So it's all black magic to your average user. So that's what I know. I'm going to play a little bit with my settings, see if I can get some of this. There we go. That turned black, but I may not want it black. Let me look at it. Maybe a different setting I want. There we go. That's kind of a just a very desaturated blah blah sepia. I've been made fun of for being sepia. Yep. What are you going to do? Someone makes fun of you. What are you going to do? Especially at my age. Try to keep people from making fun of you. Everything quits working. Your brain, all that stuff. Okay. Just checking out my working area. Thinking of actually sharing my screen, though. I actually want to be staying on the path of doing some digital painting. Well, I thought Scott would want to be right here with me. I don't see him yet. New Word Channel. Break into Comics live now. It's a really deceiving title. Okay, I've muted that. Very good. Oh, there he is.
There you go. Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
pretty good. Pretty good. I'm gonna be on the computer tonight,
Oh, excellent.
so maybe we won't have any of those problems like we had last week.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I think probably being on the computer is the typical way to go. I guess you can make your smartphone work for you.
It's not Wi-Fi, so I think it'll work better.
Oh yeah,
How are things going?
pretty good. I've shared on social media already. Got a lot of responses and sympathetic stuff. But I was, I take about an hour to take a walk every day.
Yeah.
Came home and the door just pushed open.
Yeah.
Go in and all these doors and drawers are open, and basically I've been broken into.
No way.
Yeah. And
What did they take?
well, what's really annoying, I always, as an extra precaution, also lock the bedroom. That's got the only couple of things that might be considered valuable in it.
Yeah.
And it was just open, even though the door itself, the door mechanism, was in lock mode. That means that they jimmied it, and then the damage, it's still totally workable and all that. And of course, everybody, when they have this sort of thing happen to them, all they want to know is, who did this?
Yeah.
And of course, that's the thing I'll never know unless they in some way reveal themselves later to me. I suspect, of course, all kinds of things. It's like like I told the cop, it's quite likely it might be somebody I know or am actually related to through Russell. It might be Russell's numerous regrettable friends.
Did they take anything?
The only thing that was taken and was my two firearms that I know of. That was
Oh, oops.
yeah, I know.
That's probably the thing you need the least, unless they come back. But
Exactly. No. Those guns are just for your security. You don't want to feel like you're the unarmed person if they do come back. But
luckily, your fists are weapons.
yeah, I've been walking around with a little bit of an attitude.
Oh yeah, since the robbery or before the robbery?
Since the robbery.
Oh.
But I'm good with it. It's like it's weird. I've just had a four feeling. Almost you could almost call it psychic that I just live around too many. This is a hotbed of meth and drug activity. The southwest side of this city I live on.
Yeah, you do kind of live in a bad neighborhood.
I live away from almost a metropolis of transient living over with a huge apartment complex. But like I say, the other big factor is that all of the people that Russell knew, all the people that are semi-family to me, nephew level family, that might take a swing at me in terms of getting in. But in terms of like the person that did it, being like a hostile entity, they disrupted very little.
Really?
They pulled drawers out to look for stuff, anything that might be valuable. But in terms of like throwing it over their shoulder or anything like that, or breaking stuff, or just like coming along and just scooping it all into the floor, it was a quick cleanup. All I did was take the clothes in the bedroom where they really upended everything and found the two guns. One of them was in the closet, and one of them was in, I told the cop, I said, I made my own false bottom drawer for my pistol. That didn't work too well. I guess it revealed itself quickly.
Well, when they shook it and it rattled.
Yeah, exactly. No. When they pull it completely out of its where it's at and let it drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just turn it over. Yeah, they it almost maybe could have. That's the reason again, the relation thing. Just a chance Russell may have passed on knowledge of how I had things laid out, where it allowed someone to go in with a focus.
Yeah, I don't. He's been passed away for too long, though. I think for that to have been a.
Yeah, but I tell you what, the guy that has been floating up to the top, as far as my suspects, is a guy that came to the door not a month or two ago.
Oh, really?
That I know about, that was Russell's friend, that I took an instant dislike to, that I knew his story had been a kind of a petty theft kind of guy.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I take that back then. He may have. That sounds like a
likely suspect, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately.
So and also he wanted to. It was almost like let's see who's home, and he acted like he didn't know Russell was dead, and I think the grapevine is active enough on that he would have known Russell was dead.
Oh yeah.
So and that sort of feeling out kind of thing, to where the thing I really hate about it is that we are now in a mode where someone has been in here now.
Yeah.
He knows the lay of the land. And
that's why you got to move all your furniture.
Yeah, well,
rearrange.
Things should be done.
Well,
I went around and went to neighbors and checked them for their closed circuit capabilities.
Oh yeah. Anybody have anything?
3. There's only one, right? That would have been the most useful one. Right directly across the street, there was a person that had something in their doorbell, but it only activates when you're coming up on their porch.
Hey, Star Storyteller said, "Hey everyone." Hey,
Hey.
Star Storyteller.
How's it going, dude? I'm saying that. I'm saying dude without a
We're live. Yeah, we're
without a
live.
gender biases. Gender bias.
Yeah, don't show the gender bias, Ellis.
Dude.
Dude,
Dude is gender free, isn't it? I
I several years ago. Hang on just a second.
don't know. Okay.
Let me get this out of here. Several years ago, I hung out with a friend of mine who is transgender, and she's female, and we spent like a little bit of time together. Afternoon, we ate lunch or whatever, and at one point I called her dude, and I immediately was like, "Oh, sorry." She's like, "Whatever." She didn't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Hopefully people realize that.
Well, some things are challenging. You know, it wasn't ill intended. You know.
Yeah. You gotta understand that people have got to cope with you throwing curves at them.
Yeah, no. She was cool. She understood. I mean, I just gone to a comic shop and an art museum, and we were eating lunch together, and I bought lunch, so I don't, you know, I think I had proven that I wasn't ill intended, you know. You know, but I mean, sometimes it's hard to adapt to stuff. You don't know the right way to do things, you know. You try it. I mean, my thing is always you try and be kind. You know, I figure if you're kind, legitimately kind, then people will forgive you. People will understand. Okay, Star Storyteller says, "Dude is mostly gender neutral. Everyone thinks I'm a guy." Oh, Storyteller is not a guy. Everyone loves free food. Yes, my friend. Yeah, in fact, it was we ate buffalo burgers.
Oh,
So it was, you know, yeah, male, female, whatever you are. Free food.
there's absolutely no gender apparent in Star Storyteller. I took a random stab that the only person that could listen to me for about 2 minutes straight would be a guy.
You do clear the room of females.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a chick magnet. Let me tell you.
Okay, let me switch up my screen for if I can do this. What I'm doing today, Ellis, or tonight is I am. Hang on, this will take just a second.
What are you doing tonight?
What I am doing.
No, go ahead. Tell it in your own time.
What I am doing tonight is I'm lettering my thumbnails.
Ah.
Okay.
That's a good idea because when you letter them as thumbnails, that really lets you know how much room you've got to work with on getting the, how much space you've got to put your illustration in, and oh man, compositionally, man, knowing that is almost, I think it was the most important thing they decided about EC Comics. I think they handed the guys the artwork after they had the lettering all in place, all that really nice machined letter set looking kind of lettering that they did for EC Comics.
Oh yeah, that's definitely what they did with EC Comics. Somewhere I got that font. Okay, is my Windows sharing? I don't think it's sharing.
I see you. I see you.
You see me still, right?
Oh, I see. Yeah, it says yeah, but I have to add it. So you ready for me to add it?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, now we're in
infinite screen mode.
Yeah, that's good. I like the too small, U large kind of layout we got.
Okay, this is what I want. Okay, we're good. Okay, we should be good. Okay, so what I'm doing for anybody that cares, I'm working on this comic, and so what I'm doing is I'm lettering my thumbnails. So I've got my pages, and what I'm doing is I got thumbnails here, and then I'm going to paste it in this. Now, this is just my my generic page layout. So I'm going to paste my thumbnails into Photoshop and enlarge them to 11 by 17, and then take them into Illustrator and letter them.
And you're so comfortable with Illustrator. See, if I did that, I'd have to learn Illustrator.
Oh yeah, well I mean I use Illustrator every
Yeah.
single day, like clockwork. In fact, one of the things that appealed to me about doing comics digitally was that idea that all the stuff that I do day to day in terms of layers and some of that stuff applies. Now, I never got the pages to look like I liked.
Well,
So-
you tried to do it with your own little Better Business Bureau purchase of a tablet, or rather a computer, a flip book kind of computer.
Oh, yeah.
I never thought that you had the best thing going there. Really, I think
Well-
what you need is a Cintiq to
Well,
truly
I don't-
assess.
I don't like working digitally.
Okay, I mean,
And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh no, you got to work digitally." But I mean, I'm just geared towards working. You know,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
what I like doing. But I do work. I mean, I'm not like digital phobic or anything.
Yeah, no.
I do a lot of stuff digitally in my book. I just don't like. I don't feel like my style comes through when I work digitally.
No.
I'm never happy with the results. And my thing is, if I'm not happy with it, why? I mean, everyone says, well, you save so much time, but it's like, well, I'm not
No.
doing a monthly book, so I don't need to save time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I obviously I want to use my time as efficiently as possible, but if I'm not, I'm not doing a monthly book, I'm doing this book, and I want to look as good as possible. And at this point, I'm kind of past the point of worrying about it coming out fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got this in. This is for anyone watching. Okay, I've got this saved. This is page 5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to go into Illustrator. Okay, I'm going to Illustrator, and I've got a template somewhere for Illustrator. I can't find it right now. Okay, so this is my lettering template for Illustrator. And when I get done with it, I'll bring it back in here and do the balloons. I'm not gonna worry about the balloons this time. So I got everything's on layers. So this is page 4. So I'll save it so I don't screw myself up. I'll save it as page 5. And I saved this file as letters, page 5. It's an Illustrator file.
That looks like the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a way to go. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's any the way to go as such.
Well, yeah, I mean, these guys, there's still guys, I guess, lettering for a living. There's one guy, Doug, used to have on the show all the time that, he's a good guest, but I guess he gets around enough to where he gets people that. But it's kind of like I'm not sure he's hand lettering or anything, but I think
I bet he's not.
lettering is just like what you're doing there in terms of like, man, this sure is irritating. I wish I had someone else to do it. If I could afford it, I'd have somebody else do it.
Oh gosh, yeah. I was very sad when the writer said, "I'd like you to letter page or issue 3 or issue 2," and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to letter."
Yeah, and that's the deal. It's just
And it's not that
tedium.
it's hard.
It's tedium.
It's tedious, and I'm not being demeaning for anybody that does it.
No. It takes,
I mean, I could not do it. Well,
it's like me saying, "Hey, I couldn't be a bookkeeper because I took a bookkeeping class and almost fell asleep within the first 10 minutes of introduction to the subject. And I just knew right then that I could never take that as a career path. I couldn't say I will work in a bank, because I just knew that
was not your
that skill set was not anything I found interesting.
Yes, star storyteller, lettering is an art in itself, for sure, 100%.
Oh, especially where you, well, yeah, I mean, it just goes without saying that some of the most impact you'll get will be in your lettering.
Well, and that's
your story.
That's one of the reasons why I'm doing it, because I do like the idea of kind of controlling it.
Yeah.
It's
words and pictures.
It is words and pictures. So what I've got now is I've got my script pasted over here, and I've got my thumbnail here on a separate layer. So what I'll do is I'll lock all these layers. Now, I got my balloons over here. I won't use the balloons at this point, but I'm going to save this file's saved. And after I've inked it, I'll bring the ink file into here. I'll bring the ink into here, draw the balloons, and then copy and paste it. So at this point, oops,
never want to hear that.
Oops, it's on the wrong layer. What layer is that on? That's on the right layer. Okay, so at this point, all I'm doing is copying and pasting the balloons into the appropriate panels.
Wow, Star Storyteller is giving us a lot of posts.
Oh yeah, I'm saying with digital.
I am the same way about digital. I like my art line rough. That doesn't sound right.
No,
I understand exactly. Making something look handmade is a lot better than having something that looks like you use something to cut and paste, and you're so good at it that all your stuff comes out looking like a cookie cutter.
Well,
you're ahead of the game.
I would use the phrase organic rather than rough. And I say that I'm a huge John Byrne fan, and one of my favorite stuff from when I was a kid was his run on the X-Men, and he was inked by Terry Austin, which I loved in the comics. And I got the artist edition and it has those, and blown up. It's so clean that it looks almost like it is mechanical, and it loses some of its appeal to me. I prefer it. There was just enough of bad printing in the old books that it was like it gave it kind of an organic look that I really liked.
Yeah, and don't you know that somebody that went to that much trouble to make it that smooth and good hated that printing?
Oh my gosh! Well, Ellis, you can look, and he'll do like hatching, or like hatching, like on a thigh or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would go back with whiteout and white out the end of each one, so it was flat on the end or whatever.
Oh boy, she's going into shape, his little bitty
the little bitty feather lines. Yeah, it's just like, this is. And I have the artist edition of the Fantastic Four, which is John Byrne ink in it, and to me, I prefer look. Now, I still love the old. I love what Terry Austin did, but to me, it's just too clean at actual size.
Yeah.
But
I'm just showing off my She-Hulk. That's supposedly the topic tonight. I'm in the green room for Drawn and Quartered.
Oh, are you?
That hair, all those characters that are usually in that Drawn and Quartered, every one of them is an absolute master at rendering hair.
Oh yeah.
They get into it on like a
Terry Austin level.
Yeah, exactly. Like Terry Austin, and who else does great hair? What's that one guy that everybody loves, his big boob Power Girls and all that? What's that guy's name?
Adam Hughes.
Yes, he knew who I was talking about.
Yeah, you said big boobs.
I said big boobs, and you instantly knew I meant Adam Hughes.
Yes.
Which I think Adam Hughes should be proud of that. There's no reason to hang your head.
No. He made a lot of money. He made a career.
Yeah.
Out
of his natural audience.
Yeah. Having trouble cutting and pasting, Ellis. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't I have some sort of other weird crisis thing happen one time when we were on one of these things? I forget what it was now.
On this show?
Yeah, so
oh, I don't know.
I'm just saying, if somebody
besides your robbery,
yeah, if anybody sticks their nose in here, expect cursing. I mean, you will hear the Dr. Hyde that I truly am. If anybody shows up in this house that I'm not expecting, because that's where I get my adrenaline going. I go through.
I'm glad
through every curse word I know, and they come to me naturally.
I'm glad you weren't home.
Yeah.
You know.
I kind of wish I was home.
Well.
Even though I tell you what, I've encountered this a couple of times. I've seen my girlfriend I went to San Diego with. Her place got broken into, and that guy was a wizard. What he does, he went through and stole her luggage first. He took her luggage, threw it all open, and just started throwing stuff into her own luggage, and then left. And it was obviously almost as quick as my little bit of business. And and so there's that. But the first thing you do, and then I had a girlfriend that had her car window smashed out and doors thrown open that we came onto. And what happens, you encounter this, the first thing that goes to your mind is the guy that did it still around. And and that caution has to go through your head. And so I came in and I snapped open my little knife that I carry up next to my car keys and did my cursing and all that, trying to get somebody to, trying to flush them so I could have a look at them at any rate. And even though, I'm not saying I would have done anything. I may have just turned right around and ran like a rabbit. But, I wanted to flush them before I stumbled onto them.
Yeah. No. I think you're right. I think
and that sort of thing happened. Then I switched to a butcher knife, and then I went through the house real quick and checked kind of some of my scary closets, which I could hide in.
Oh yeah, I
only got a couple. But after I cleared the place, it was just wandering around, walking. Called the cops in about 15 minutes after I'd kind of assessed that there wasn't really much damage. Not much damage done, but right away I could tell, and I went to the heart of it. I could tell that I'd lost my guns.
Oh yeah, well, that I'm glad they didn't steal your computer.
Yeah, the way the octopus webbing that runs from my computer would be daunting. Plus, anybody looking at it would say, "What is that crap? It's not a computer." That's
what kind of computer is that?
Yeah, what is that? That's looks like a piece of French toast.
Well, don't you have a Mac? People won't even steal a Mac.
Yeah, that's the deal.
I laugh, but this sucks. I mean, but it could be worse.
Oh yeah, it could be a lot worse. The guy could come back tonight and want to do a home invasion with under the gun.
Yeah, shit. Now he's armed.
Yeah, he's armed now.
Or she. Sorry, it could be.
Or she. It could be a team. That's another thing. Who wouldn't want to work with? If you're using meth, you're likely a social type of person, and if they got in here and had at least one person saying, I'm going to use the word jigger because that's the word I grew up with. You gotta be paying attention to people surprising you, and so there may have been a team. You never know.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Here, I'll look that up right now.
I think
Sometimes
I
it
think
raises
you were.
connotation to jigger.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
I know it.
Okay, so I have a couple. I'm looking at my iPad. I have a couple observations. First off, Star Storyteller. If we had looked at her icon, it is a female that looks like a girl in a drawing of a girl. So we probably should have not made the assumption that it was a dude.
Yeah.
You should have not made the assumption.
Oh, definitely. It was put it all on me. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, I am innocent. Glenn Keane. She's talking about Glenn Keane's her favorite artist.
Yeah.
And have you met Glenn?
Never have. No, have you?
No. But you lived out there. I thought you might.
Well, yeah. I've been around that sort of. I know a guy that probably has met him several times. Jeff Ranjo is the story artist, and Glenn Keane was a story artist.
Yeah,
and a director.
There's an interview with Glenn Keane that I've heard where because she's talking about how he would add shadows and he drew like he was sculpting. Mm-hmm. And there's an interview where he talks about this and I forget what he was doing. I think it was before he was working on Rapunzel that he was trying to find this look that it was like something between animation and sculpted. And there's a painting of a woman on a swing from like the Renaissance. I think not the Renaissance, the Renaissance. Mm-hmm. And he found it. He told the story about he was depressed and because he was frustrated with his work, and so went to the library and he was looking through these art books and he found this drawing. And it's like I think it may be called "Woman on a Swing."
Yeah.
And it's in the.
Hey, you've got my problem. me.
It's in the front of the Rapunzel art book, but that painting inspired him the way it looked because he was trying to find that look in his animation. Animation is kind of a because because of the workload. I think it's always going to be a compromise.
Oh yeah, the simplification that has to go on. They do a lot of stuff with, level of detail that you can, of course, do as a texture render anymore. And
right.
And some of this stuff you can do on 3D, which, of course, like someone famously said, 3D makes everything hard, easy, and everything easy, hard. Meaning that the gesture you're used to as an animator just doesn't come as naturally. It's going to be machine made and all that. But that sort of thing of like turning a Volvo around 360 degrees and all that all of a sudden is the easiest thing you can do with 3D.
Yeah.
And an animator would say, maybe this job isn't for me if you gave him the task of turning a Volvo around 360 degrees.
Well, even
on twos.
Even
animation term for the day.
Disney, if you go look back and you look at what is it, 1001 Dalmatians or whatever the Dalmatians is, 101 Dalmatians. If you look at how they did it, for example, with Cruella's car, they used a model,
sure,
and they painted lines on it and then photographed it.
Sure, just going back all the way to Fleischer Studios, made great use of actual sculptural elements, and then they would do what they do nowadays of render engines to make it look like a comic book.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to my story here, this is one of the reasons why I do this, because if you look at this, I'm looking at characters talking, and there's too much. It doesn't work. The talking does not work. This is why I letter this stuff before, because but what I'll do is when I do this, I'm gonna cinch this up in here. So I'm gonna go here and here with this, even though it's a little close to the edge, but I can cheat it a little bit.
you to some extent, naturally, you wouldn't want to crop completely over a head too much, but crops into your figure works that hide stuff that you've and you haven't drawn a lot yet.
No.
Uh, so
Yeah, see, I'll scooch this
don't
girl,
worry
I'll
too
scooch
much
this
about
figure down.
crops. Yeah.
Do what?
Some of these crops that occur, people don't mind if you're hiding somebody's shoulder behind a word balloon. They just don't care. I mean, so as long as it's, if you're letting the lettering kind of push you around by not hiding your, like right there in the big middle of that group shot.
Yeah.
If there was a word balloon that more comfortably would be there, that's a fine place to put it.
Well,
right down about their belt line.
Oh, right here.
Right on their belt line. Right in the
Well,
middle of that group.
See, so this girl's talking, and she says, "Sunshine's holding a little girl hostage," da da da, and then she's talking. So I think I got it here. The thing is,
yeah, that does look like pretty good flow.
On this particular template, this line, this dotted line right here, you're not supposed to put lettering outside of it. But the thing is, because this is the live area. But I think I'm okay. Well, first off, I'm gonna draw it to the trim area anyway. So what they did, what happens. But when they print it, they'll scooch it in. I'm not too worried about it.
Well, you got to watch that. Sometimes they don't go to that extra mile for you. And I've had several frustrating moments with my little, really badly edited Lulu kind of self-publishing kind of things, where I had to revise it about 3 times before they'd accept it. That's mainly with the Amazon stuff, which is good. They're saying to you, hey, get a clue. Get it in the sweet spot or not.
Yeah. Ellis.
Yeah.
The other thing that I like about
So you went to the dentist, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you're a dentist.
Do what?
I know you're a dentist. So were you treated all right?
Yeah. I've gone to the same dentist for years. What's sad is I don't know my hygienist's name. I've known her for probably like 25 years.
Yeah, that's the only person I do know. Yeah.
And yeah, it was good.
Not your hygienist. Oh, you know what? I was telling you that story about a girlfriend with a car broken into and the doors thrown open, and she had one of those French weirdo cars.
A Peugeot.
A Peugeot. You knew it right off the top of your head.
You said French weirdo car.
Yeah. You knew it.
You could have just said French car.
Yeah. It was a Peugeot. It was broken into, and it looked like it probably was her old girlfriend, or her old boyfriend.
What? Wait, whoa.
Yeah, no, I misspoke, but it was probably her old boyfriend. And but that was close to your dentist. It was a block away. You know those office buildings that look like they're totally deserted, right?
Oh yeah.
Basically a block away from your dentist.
To the west.
Yeah. It was. She parked in that lot over there. Walked over. There used to be a bridge across that creek, and she walked over to say, hang out with me, and then we walked back to go do something else. And I guess we'd been stalked because that guy, he shouldn't have been around. Of course, it might have been somebody else.
Okay, so Star Storyteller was talking about started doing Illustrator. She says she had to think like she was cutting out pieces. Yeah. I've trained a couple artists at work, or kind of helped them get their feet a little wetter in Photoshop or in Illustrator, and I always tell them that when they're putting out elements, think about like they're dealing cards, and so the last thing you draw is the one on top.
Yeah.
You don't happen to live in Oklahoma City, do you, Star Storyteller? If you do, I'm looking for an artist.
you can look for an artist in the Philippines. Where are you,
Well,
Star
I'm
Storyteller?
looking for an artist at my day job.
Oh, okay.
We had some people that said, "Hey, we'll do." They want to do contract work, but there's too much training. Unfortunately, what I do is pretty not. I guess specialized would be a good way. There's a lot of there's just a learning curve,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Yeah, you missed it Friday, Ellis. I went to the 45th Infantry Museum.
Was something special happen while you were there?
Yeah, I did some drawing.
Okay.
Well, I'd asked if you wanted to go with me. And, oh, by the way, you know the noise in my car that I was telling you about?
Yes.
Has not happened again.
I think you got something in your wheel well or something that fell out.
Something. Well, you know, it rained pretty hard the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think whatever was going, either I was crazy, which is a possibility, but it went away. It stopped. So I was happy about that. Okay, so I'm done with this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this. So I have this when I'm done. Then I'm going to copy this. Oh, you're in Washington. Yeah. Well, you're probably better off. As long as it's not DC. Okay, so now I'm going to drop this in back on top of this. Oops, not that. I'm having cut and paste issues tonight. Okay, let's see. So did you say this happened today, Ellis?
Yes, it did happen today, hours ago. Let's see, it will be now at 7:15 now. It would be in Central Time. It was probably in the window from 12 to 1:15.
Oh, yeah.
So it's someone that, like I say, probably has me pretty well monitored, knows me pretty well in terms of like knows my movements.
Do you put your truck in the garage?
I just now did put the truck. I'm that paranoid that tonight there might be follow-ups for all I know. So I want my truck as sheltered as I can get it.
I got you. But you don't normally put it in the garage, do you?
I do not. I'm going to start doing it now from now on.
Yeah, I think it's a mistake not to put it in the garage. Okay, so anybody that's listening, what I'll do with this is my thumbnail with my lettering on it. So I've got this file in Illustrator. So this is ready to go. What I'll do is when I get ready, probably not tonight, but what I'll do is I'll flatten this and I'll flip it and then I'll print it on a board, on a Bristol board, 11 by 17 Bristol board. And when I flip it, I'll put it, and it's basically on the back. So then I'll light box it and draw it on the other side. On the other side, I'll do pencils that are tighter than this, and then I'll do inks. But I have done the first 4 pages are done. They need to be scanned in. So I need to prepare some more pages to print out. So that was one. This is kind of time consuming. Well, because I'm lettering it. And I may go in and monkey with the thumbnails a little bit but I generally don't. If I monkey with it, I just do it when I'm drawing it.
The cop was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the guy. He ought to go straight to Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
He's got that face that has been ravaged by cystic acne when he was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
He's a real fit character, a real fit example of, he's got a real good build and he's that kind of ugly that you just can't get enough of as far as being photogenic.
Oh, yeah. Almost like a Danny Trejo or something.
Yeah. You went right over the top of even worrying about being good looking and went straight into the pure masculine of being a monster, which is cool. I mean, he, like I say, those deep pits in that face at the same time with the guy that says, I'm taking care of myself, whatever. He's a big, he's obviously very fit. He's ready to take you to the ground, put his knee on your neck.
Well, good Lord, can you imagine what it would take to be a cop nowadays?
Oh yeah. No,
I know some.
No wimpy midway to alpha male things. You got to be an alpha male.
Yeah.
Or you should be.
Well, I mean, what's funny is that they're, well,
go ahead. You're worried about being politically correct.
Have gone the other way, but I think they're, in practical terms, you probably need to be more of a badass than you ever had to be if you want to be a cop.
Yeah.
And
I'm really bad about that. I'll see somebody, and I've said it before, reacting to some of these videos. I said I just watched somebody murder somebody, and be referring directly to what I'm seeing a cop do.
Well, I don't know what to tell you about that, Ellis.
Well, no, I mean they're going to.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Anybody.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not a. I mean,
That's the reason they have to review it. Is that
right? Exactly. Let an impartial judge decide.
Do we just see a murder?
Or
they have.
They don't need to be tried in public opinion or
right
in the media or whatever. Let the facts come out. That's I believe that.
Even though you do get a kind of a rosy glow when you're the guy that's being helped by law enforcement.
versus when you're up against the car.
Yeah. And then it's like, someday I'll take all of you down. That's when you unleash that beast. Get yourself beat up real bad.
Michelle and I, Star Storyteller said she's no spy. I don't know what we said she was spying on, but
no spy boys. Too many taxes and impractical social policies.
Oh yeah,
Washington. She's talking about Washington. The Washington she's in.
Soy. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no soy boys on the police department. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't, I don't understand. Once again, Ellis, I'm attempting to read Moby Dick.
Oh man, well, it seems like it ought to be the most readable thing in the world, and then I think a guy's just daunted by how much there is of it.
That's the thing. There's so much, but I want to read something. I just want to read something that, to me, it just feels like a very just a kind of a manly story.
Yeah.
Well,
and something, that I really dug the 10% of it I read. I mean, it's great writing. I mean, all that stuff that goes on as he gets on that boat, it's awesome. But,
that adaptation, that French adaptation's great by that Chabat or whatever his name is.
Oh. What are you talking about? Print adaptation?
No, the French adaptation.
Oh, okay.
There's a French adaptation of it.
You reading it in French?
No. It's a graphic novel.
Oh, okay.
Have you not seen that?
I probably haven't.
Oh, next time.
My God, he didn't take on the whole thing, did he?
Yeah, it's a long story, but a lot of it is eliminated. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, the art's beautiful, Ellis. The next time you come over, I'll show it to you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think you'd really like it.
When am I coming over next? Since it always involves our podcast.
Well, I don't know. Well, you're invited over anytime, but I don't know when the next planned.
Our podcast that anyone can roll up in our data here on this podcast or down below.
Oh, Star Tourist Seller says, read the Pulp. Man, when I was a kid, I read so much Doc Savage. Yeah, I've got a big book of pulp detective stories. that's probably 1,000 pages. It's about the same size as that Western book I gave you, Ellis, of Larry Elmore Westerns, but it's detective stories. It's like the Black Lizard story book of pulp detective stories, and it's pretty cool. But it's kind of one of those things like, man, there's a lot here.
I love that Black Lizard company. They put out a lot of stories that I wouldn't have read otherwise if they hadn't made sure the person could have a copy of them. You know, all of the stuff from Jim Thompson. They did a great job of going back for the guy that did The Getaway and and all that stuff. He was really well covered by the Black Lizard people. And I read a lot of that from the library, the California library. Books were a lot easier to get back then when I was using my Culver City library. I still had them sent, from central locations, but I didn't have to send beyond state lines to get it,
Oh, yeah. They probably had a little more extensive library system than we got here in Oklahoma. But I think our library is pretty good.
Pretty good. But like I say, the way that I send for books I want to read that our system doesn't have is just to know the book exists, for one thing, and then to look at it on Amazon so I can cut and paste all the data on it, and then request what they call an interlibrary loan.
Oh, yeah.
So, Canopy is back for me now. I've got 6 new things. I think I've already burned 4 of them.
For August?
Yeah. Hey, another weird thing is like you were mentioning something there that made me mindful of John Wool. Oh, yeah, you were just talking about books and pulp fictions and stuff. John Woolley's podcast, the Forgotten Horrors podcast.
Yeah.
He hasn't had an update since back in July 13, and they had been good at least having one a month. So that's July, August, September. Well, that's not too much of a jump. These guys are, but I hope nothing's wrong with either one of them. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
God, that's awful. See, this is the sort of thing I do. I solved this hand that was just an awful pose. It's like, that's not the way that guy would be holding his hand. But I solved it because it was I could figure it out in 3D. That was a little better.
I'm looking at my little iPad. Oh, I didn't realize you had my screen big and us small.
Well, you didn't realize that, huh?
No, I didn't. I didn't realize my camera was still on.
I hope you didn't embarrass yourself.
Nah, if I did, I did.
People will replay it on Reddit.
I'm wearing pants. I'm good.
Yeah. So let's see. I'll try some different layouts. Oh, that's interesting. There's me big and you little, and we lost your video feed.
Oh yeah, what are you drawing? Is that Conan?
It's kind of I was actually thinking of a Western they showed today of called McCabe and Mrs. Miller. I did this little pugnacious because he's got a little pug nose.
Oh yeah.
And there's this character that cold-bloodedly murders somebody in McCabe and Mrs. Miller. That, as far as I know, that was his only movie role, and he is so memorable in it. Such a little creep that I'm basically channeling that as a barbarian. There's my She-Hulk that I did as a warm-up for the idea of She-Hulk tonight.
Oh yeah, that's a good She-Hulk, Ellis. I was looking at some artwork.
I'll switch back here
today, and what I like is you gave her big thighs. That's what makes her look muscular, I think.
There we go. Let's see what happens if I hit this single screen. Hey, look at that. Tell me if you've got any reason at all to be single screened, and I'll do it.
Okay.
I keep getting these little nudges from StreamYard saying, "Hey, you know what you ought to be now is paying us monthly."
Yeah, and you're like, go fish.
That's what you need is to pay us monthly. Hey, I'm going to go see if I've got some coffee that's drinkable.
Okay.
The burner may be off, so I'll be back. Here, I'll just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, leave it that way. Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to talk about while this is gone. I've been working on this comic. If you've watched any of these, I'm sure you've seen me working on this. I've been working. This is issue 3, and I've been working on this thing for a while. But it's going good. Obviously, I wish I was done. But that's how it goes, right? I wish I didn't have to letter it, but in a way though, I'm kind of glad because it allows me to do stuff like this where I can see what I'm lettering and see where I'm putting it before I draw it. The first issue, the first issue, I lettered it after I drew it, and I had some issues. There were some panels where I kind of didn't leave enough room. The writer isn't real wordy, but he can get wordy in spots, and so it really it'll trick me because I'll leave what I think is enough room, and then he'll throw in a wordy dialogue panel or a wordy panel.
I'm back.
Okay.
Nothing drinkable, so I'm making some.
Oh, okay.
That's what I did. I will take a.
Are you a percolator guy?
I wish I was. I'd like to see if there's a big difference.
What do you? So you're just like a drip guy?
I'm like a Mr. Coffee kind of guy.
Oh, gotcha.
So have you got a percolator?
We do, but we don't use it. We have it's basically a drip. Like mine will grind the beans. If you put the beans in the top, it'll grind them.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
That sounds tasty.
It's pretty nice. I read a series of detective novels lately about a lady that she lived in Kansas City, and when the first one of her husband was killed, and it took place in the 70s. That was kind of the appeal of it to me, and so it took place in the 70s. So she was basically and she was an artist. She was a painter,
mm-hmm.
and and later on in the series, and her and her husband, even when he was alive, they were kind of estranged.
Right.
And so she would talk about the only man in my life I need is Mr. Coffee.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was pretty funny.
I'm listening to That Hideous Strength.
Oh no! Wait, were you listening to that last week?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and I was complaining about how it was taking so long to get anywhere, but right now it's the last 3 discs, and it is now I'm ready to pass the verdict. Oh, it's the greatest thing I've ever heard. It's great stuff, but it took an awful lot of preamble, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
But a guy that you're complaining about the fact that he chooses to be masterfully descriptive in an overabundant way is what kind of complaint is that? I don't know. It's my complaint, but it's just modern patience and patience in general for a story. I think Vonnegut was onto something. It's like don't withhold anything, let your people have all the information they need early, etc. But most people, of course, go into this, and this is probably to its disadvantage. They know it is allegedly the sequel to Out of the Silent Planet and 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 oh man,
And what's the other? I can't think what the other one is.
Out of the Silent Planet and Paralendra,
Oh yeah.
and of course those are cool science fiction romps of a guy that almost like an H.G. Wells story is traveling from one planet to the other just by virtue of bad guys that drag him along in one case, like almost like First Men in the Moon, and then in the other case, the gods that we don't really know that much about, but exist and represent every one of the planets, and of course they're all represent God. You know,
Yeah.
it's like represent or basically our tools and all that. They transport him to Venus. His first trip is to Mars with man-made flight.
Okay.
Have you not read these?
No, I haven't read them, man.
Oh wow, wow! You're in for a treat if you ever get around to it.
Yeah, I mean, I should. I should also read Moby Dick. Or you listened to the audiobook, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I'm listening to the audiobook. That'd be the way for me to go with a Moby Dick. Quit trying to act like I've got the attention span to read all of Moby Dick and just listen to it.
Just listen to the audiobook.
I wonder who all has done a version of that.
Oh, there's tons of them on the internet that you can download. There's podcasts because the story is public domain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you know.
But that would probably keep your better, high quality guys away from it, being public domain.
Yeah, I mean, but you figure people will go, hey, if we get Harlan Ellison to read it, we've got a winner.
Yeah, George Woodall. Yeah,
Or somebody with a name, you know.
Mm-hmm. The guy, I think he died here pretty recently. I think he was on Laugh-In. That guy was a great talent as a voice talent on reading. What was his name? Henry something.
I don't know if I ever watched an episode of Laugh-In.
Oh, that's well before you. Yeah.
I think it might be. I don't know about well before me, but it's before me.
It's hard to look at almost anything that is allegedly comedy gold back then.
Yeah.
I've got the least bit patience for trying to re-enter that realm where I find it funny. It's I never watch stuff like that. You know, they offer up laugh-ins from ages ago. Not the least bit interested in watching.
So here's where I'm making a few little adjustments in the. For example, this panel right here doesn't have any dialogue. So
here we go. There you go. Big screen.
Okay, this panel right here doesn't have any dialogue, so I don't need it to be big. But I'm kind of running out of room in this one, so I'm gonna kind of scooch all this stuff over just a little bit. And this is just the thumbnail, so I'm not too worried about anything in particular. Just getting it over there. I want to make sure that I got plenty of room for all this.
I'm giving this guy a He-Man Page Boy haircut.
Oh yeah, kind of the Prince Valiant.
You know, I've got my doubts that Alex Toth had a hand in any. Oh, you don't know. I don't know. I don't think he did any of the
He-Man stuff.
Character designs for that.
It doesn't look like it to me.
Yeah, they're not good.
I don't think that time frame works out. It might. I don't know.
Yeah, he might be. He might have been dead by then. Yeah.
I don't know when. When did Toth die?
I'll look it up real quick. Alex Toth. That's all you needed to enter.
There was something I had you look at online, but I cannot for life remember what it was.
Alex Toth. Your preferred preference. He died in 2006. Actually, no.
That
almost seems like recent history, doesn't it?
Yeah, he could have worked on He-Man.
Oh,
But just based on the design, I'm betting he didn't.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't imagine. I'll look at his Wikipedia real quick and see what he did work on. You know, it's such a giveaway on all his stuff he did work on. Like you see Birdman and Space Ghost, you say that must be Toph.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what I'm going with. When I get this done, when I get it all done and lettered, I'll scooch this lettering over. But I've given myself enough room in here to work. And
Yeah, the thing he did do that I figure probably inspired He-Man was probably the Herculoids, which
I like the Herculoids.
yeah,
And
exactly.
you're right,
And
it
that
probably did.
that one character looks basically like a small. You know, his hair is longer, flowing. It's not in such a wacky look. You know, the head of the family in the Hercules.
Oh yeah, I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I wish I could remember what I was gonna have you look something up, Ellis, but I can't remember what it was.
Think it related to movies or
No, I can't. I cannot. There was something I was like gonna have you. Let's see. I don't know.
also looks a bit like the Golem. My God.
Yeah. Yeah, the He-Man, not necessarily your guy.
So, get us back to sharing the screen again.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
There I am, big. Oh God, that's ugly. Oh well, it's a sketch.
Yeah, he's got his.
He's too hunched up. It's
Yeah.
the whole point is just what anatomy I knew. I'm just putting that in there. What it's not very well done either. See what happens when I erase it. Oops, jeez.
Okay.
It's the same thing I did last time when I spilled coffee.
Oh,
I
geez.
got the leverage going on this
Hey,
drawing board.
the guy that took your guns may have been doing you a favor.
I broke that one coffee thing of mine.
He broke a coffee thing of yours?
He broke a coffee cup.
Get out of here. Now that's bad.
Well, it was because he was getting in those drawers in that drawing table of mine up in there, and it was on one of the little drawers I've got.
Oh, yeah, kind of rigged up as a shelf.
Yeah, it's a rig as a shelf. Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, dude, that kind of sucks.
Oh, it definitely sucks. And of course, I'll be jumpy. Like I say,
Yeah,
I've seen these closed circuit things of home invasions, and being under a gun. I've been there, and it's rough to cope with as far as finding your chemical balance when you're under that much stress of that much fear.
Yeah.
Of, being shot, and you won't want it to happen.
No. Yeah. Well, and you know what's crazy, Ellis, is no offense, but if I was picking people to rob, you wouldn't be it.
No. I mean, if there's one thing that the lay of the land has taught this guy, unless he's really big into office supplies, there's no point in coming back here.
Sorry.
Yeah. There's really no point.
Oh, yeah.
I've got an awful lot of pencils and pens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's what I obviously place a value on. Those guns, that guy has got himself a gun there that has not been cleaned in 20 years.
We'll hope
And,
it blows up in his hand if
Yeah,
he ever
exactly.
shoots.
My counting on it as a home defense weapon was probably kind of stupid anyway.
Precarious at best.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, maybe he did you a favor.
He's got guns out of the house, that's for sure.
Well,
All these people that act like nobody ought to have a gun in the house.
oh, I know what I was going to have you look up. You just reminded me because you said that. I was just thinking that sounds like something a commie would say. Are you in the? You know what? I'll look it up. I was going to.
I can look it up. Go ahead.
No. I'll show you on my. I can show you on my screen.
It says Toth died at his drawing table on May 27, 2006 from a heart attack. His ashes were scattered into the Pacific Ocean. That seems so, that's 12 years ago, but
that seems forever
it seems
ago.
like it, yes. Yeah, I guess it is forever ago.
Let's see. Okay. Okay. You know how I glued that cover on the front of my sketchbook, that pulp cover?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been kind of looking about what I was going to do the next one.
Yeah.
Here's what I came up with. It's a Thor cover, but it's from Britain. But tell me if this is not awesome.
Okay. Gotta get on the right thing. Let's have a look at this. Oh yeah.
I love that Thor, Prisoner of the Reds.
Yeah.
So if I don't do that one, I don't know. I am convinced I'm gonna put a thing on there. You know what's funny is the bottom here it says adult comic. I found this online and I thought it was a parody, but it's like Journey into Mystery 87, but this is the British cover. So I found, in fact, I think this is stuff you gave me. So this was another contender right here. You see that? I thought this was kind of a cool cover.
Oh yeah. Zane Grey's Range War.
Yeah, this was. I think I got this off of a file that you gave me, some art. Here's the other one though. I may go with this one. I like this one as a cover for a sketchbook.
It's some of my Tumblr Coles. Yeah.
I think it is. I thought this was really cool though. Chamber of Darkness.
Dig that.
Anyway, but so far, if I glue a cover on my new sketchbook, which I've got a ways, it's gonna be this one. I think the Thor. I need to find a bigger resolution though.
Oh, you're gonna look around for something.
Yeah.
Perfect one, huh?
Yeah, I liked it. There's the American one. This one has kind of like almost like watercolors to it. I don't know if it's been modified or what.
Yeah, they may have done their own coloring job on it.
You know, I was going to ask you.
Yeah, that looks like the sort of stuff I would say. You know what I did the other day was I actually clicked a button that saved an archive of all of my Tumblr that I had posted, and it came out.
Do you know who this artist is?
It was 11 or 12 gig. Can you believe
really?
that? 12 gig of JPEGs and animated GIFs, and I couldn't believe it. Yeah, as a matter of fact, is that my, no, I didn't draw that. Never mind.
No, but this came off of your.
I'm pretty sure of it.
You know who this artist is?
Who is he?
I don't know. I can't read the signature.
Yeah,
But
it looks like something that would appeal to me. Yeah.
And you probably just found it on some comic Tumblr. It looks like the same signature from this guy, but maybe not. Now that I look at it, I like this, and there's no signature on it.
Yeah, no attribution.
That's just a tough looking cable, and I like this. This is I don't know where this. I mean, look at this. That's
I don't know who would work that hard unless it was like.
It's gonna be
output is only expected to be once a week or something like that.
No, that's got to be. I mean, look at that house, man.
Yeah.
That's gonna be an advertising thing.
Well, I don't know. It may be a movie adaptation, comic book. Like I say, it could, if someone gives somebody an assignment and let them take it away and come back in 6 months with the finished product, then maybe then your artwork looks like that.
I bet it wouldn't be that long, but if all you did was this, that's a day's work. But if you did a whole strip with like this style, that and this is not publication ready by any means. That's why maybe it's storyboards for a commercial.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think so either.
You
I get more of a vibe of storytelling for the sake of storytelling.
Yeah, it's just really odd. And it definitely looks like 50s, 60s. But it doesn't look like any comic artist I'm familiar with. It looks like those guys.
Looks like the guy,
Those guys from the famous Illustrator School, like a Parker or one of those guys.
Right.
Anyway, and I like this with Mickey Mouse is going to kill himself. I saw this and I wondered.
Ditko.
Yeah, I saw this and I thought, I wonder if that's the studio he had when he passed away.
I don't know, but there's not many pictures of him.
No, not very many. I saw one after he passed away. Oh, okay. You could have beat the hell out of the robber with a shotgun. Did they steal a shotgun, Ellis?
No, I don't own a shotgun, but that's what I may replace it with, my gun. And there's a guy that led me to a link on one that, for whatever loopholes reasons, it's basically almost a sawed-off level shotgun.
Oh,
it's a Mossberg Shockwave is what it's called. And I would love to have that around the house.
What's that cost, though?
It costs about $300. Just a shotgun. Shouldn't cost too much. But $300 is what you'll pay for a nice 9mm pistol or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'd much rather have that Mossberg short-handled.
As long as it's legal.
Yeah, as long as it's legal. I'll find out. I'm going to go shopping sometime or other.
Gotcha. Okay, so Star Storyteller says, what kind of adult comic? I think she's talking about that Thor. I think that was just in England they had to classify it, and I think Thor would be classified as an adult comic. I've heard stories about in England they were real bad about, not bad, but they were...
Censorship.
Yes, it was censorship. If it was scary, they would have to label it for adults, even though it was far from what we consider an adult comic. You say it's unfinished, but compared to modern Marvel's beautiful art, I agree. In fact, I would say it's probably better looking than just about anything that Marvel's ever put out. Those 3 panels, at least. It's an illustrator. It's not a comic book.
Yeah, it's a guy that it's somebody that made his bread doing advertising.
It's a guy that probably paints.
Yeah.
Star Storyteller gives you the thumbs up on the get the gun stat. Screw it if it's legal. Shall not be infringed. Well, I agree in principle, but man.
That's the deal. If the theft of my guns was for the sake of feeding a meth habit, they probably aren't going to go say, I've got a gun now I'll go rob a store. They'll probably sell my gun to somebody for $20. It's worth about $200 and they'll sell it for $20.
Oh, there is
the austere setting of Wally Wood doing some writing. Of course, that might just be his little off from the main house, little studio he gets away in. He might be a palace through that door. But supposedly he did live in he's one of these guys that didn't need much to live. He liked it.
Yeah, I don't know anyone like that.
Yeah, well, that's me. He liked it Spartan.
Well, he's got a trench knife and a butcher knife, and I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I love the shot of him with a Thompson submachine gun. I don't know where he got it.
That's what he didn't spend his money on carpet. He spent it on machine guns.
Yeah, of course it could just be just a reference gun, but seeing as how the man killed himself with a Bulldog 44.
No, I'm betting if Wood owned it, it was a functioning weapon.
Yeah,
it may not have been full auto, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wally Wood, man, what a man.
Yeah. He was always he reminds me a lot of these guys that are doing their own publishing thing. He would love to be in the little circle of saying, yeah, let's crowdfund something. Boy, he'd get after that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. He's kind of like Ditko. Ditko's a guy who I don't look at him and go, boy, I wish I could draw like that. But
I do.
Well, I mean, he's just not, I don't aspire for that style, but I mean,
the style doesn't appeal to you. Okay.
Right. But he appeals to me as a creative person. And I think I think Wally Wood is like that, even though, they both of them had their personal quirks
Oh yeah.
that I think held them back. But I don't know. I mean, man.
Well, you come into somebody you just spent so much time doing something that isn't paying all that well,
Yeah.
and if your relationships with somebody and they're being a jerk with you, it's going to be a hard road to maintain that relationship.
Well,
and he may have been sensitive or thin-skinned. I don't know.
I don't think which one of them. I don't think either one of them were thin skinned.
Well, I mean, Kirby and Wallywood and Ditko, they could get their feelings hurt by.
Well,
according to that book of yours that
maybe. Yeah, you're probably right. Now that I think about it,
they were always ready to blow up and go elsewhere.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I think that I was talking to somebody the other day, a mutual friend. I don't want to say his name out loud, but I was talking to a mutual friend. I went and saw him downtown. He was downtown, so you know who it is.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, if you say his word, I forget what they call that in Dune. You're liable to blow up a rock next to you. So,
okay. Well,
you know what I'm talking about. What that kind of what do they call that in Dune?
I don't know. I've never read Dune. That's another book I've never read.
Okay.
But that's one I need to read.
Oh, well, just watch the David Lynch movie.
No, I can't watch that thing. Terrible.
Because the guy with the boils?
The whole thing. I can't take any of it. But, I was telling him, we were talking about, working in comics and stuff, and I said, if you read, which he hadn't read, that Marvel Comics, The Untold Story, you'll find except for very few periods, comic creators were basically treated like crap. Except for basically during the 90s. Other than that, they were basically, and I think it's probably worse now than it's been since the 90s. I mean, I think the 90s was an anomaly, and I think after that, they're like, I think especially Marvel said, we're not going to let that happen to us again.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they have kind of clamped down on the creators in terms of,
Even though the guy that transitioned really big time into becoming an executive for them is, of course,
CB.
Yeah, CB, but I'm talking about Jim Lee.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's not at Marvel. He's at DC.
Right. Well, I guess there might be a reason for that, huh?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure they'd welcome his input. And, of course, Rob Liefeld. He's the instigator of it all. He still works for Marvel.
Yeah. Old Rob. Hey, Ellis, we started 30 minutes early, and it's now 8 o'clock.
Let's quit.
7:56. Are you ready to call it?
I'm ready to call it. Hey, thanks, Star Storyteller, for keeping us company. And we will be back
definitely
next week.
Yeah, I hope we haven't been too boring.
No, I'm sure we have. Okay, well, I'm gonna click in broadcast, and then
It'll be us.
Just us for a short minute, and then I'll click the end of that.
Okay, thank you for joining us.